Well, I don't know, Mr. Krabs. That sounds a lot like human trafficking. What? Go ahead. Go ahead, do what you need to do. Women. Howdy do, fellers and fellettes. We're back to the relentless grind of reviewing aluminum Amazon Balisong trainers. I say that as if I'm not playing with toys for a living. But this one we're gonna look at today is a little quirky. As you can see, it's you hear it? Mother Nature's up there farting. She must have had Taco Bell. But as you may notice, this one's a little quirky because there's no screws. Where are they? You're gonna have to watch and find out. What is up, guys? DenDenBMX here, and today we're gonna be reviewing the Knivesmatter TECH-NOIR that you can find on Amazon for $50. Actually, it's originally $55, but it's on sale right now when I'm filming it, so yeah. B-roll. So Knivesmatter, man, I can't clear my throat. Your entire oh my God, my throat is pissing me off. There's like I can't get it out of my throat. There's like a big pile of shit in there. Anyway, Knivesmatter hit me up on Instagram and he was like, hey Den, I've kidnapped your entire family, and unless you review my products on your YouTube channel, I'm gonna subject them to eldritch horrors beyond your wildest imagination. And then the second I finished reading oh my God. And the second I finished reading that message, I gotta ring up the doorbell, and these were sitting right there. Not only did he send me this quirky Balisong that's gonna be the focus of today's video, he actually sent me two kunais. That's what they're called, right? Am I knifing properly? No, they're not kunais. Aw, shit. What are they called? He also sent me these two karambits, but they're not actually karambits. They're karambit trainers. They're like made of rubber. They're actually kind of fun. Like, this is actually a really good like training option for a karambit, because you can just, like, you know, I can do double karambits better than I can do double butterfly knives. They're made of rubber, so they're like dildos, but for knives. Oh, get fucked. Anyway, what we're focusing on today is this. It's called the TECH-NOIR, and I think that's a very apropos name because it looks like it's straight out of cyberpunk, but if you would notice, there's no screws anywhere, and that kind of harkens back to the really, really old Pacific Cutlery Balisongs where they were just pinned, and then they were like really smooth on the handles, and there was like no pivot screws. Except this Balisong doesn't run on pins. It's actually, it uses bushings, it uses bronze phosphorus washers, and it has a pivot system in it. It's all just covered by this layer of a G10 right here on the faces of the handles. So these handles are 6061 channel aluminum handles, and they have a big G10 slab grafted onto the faces of the handles. And then the only other real design these handles have is they come with jimping. It's a very simplistic, minimalist design until we get to this bonkers looking blade. It's a Tonto shaped trainer blade, and it has a very aggressive bite handle indicator on there, which I think is pretty quirky. But then all the cutouts on the blade really does remind me of like a cyberpunk aesthetic. I hate that word so much. It makes me seethe every time I even like see it, but you know, that's what it is. Like I literally just said, this does have a bushing pivot system. There are pivot screws. They're just below the G10 so you can't see them. Same thing with the, what are they called? Zen pins. They are hidden Zen pins, and they are hidden behind the G10. You can see it on the side profile of this Balisong. So it does come with basically everything that a modern day Amazon Balisong aluminum channel handled trainer will come with, but it's just all hidden behind this G10. Some of you may be asking why it's all hidden behind there. Well, the maker, Knivesmatter, he believes that this Balisong's tolerances and its quality control is good enough to where you won't have to maintain this Balisong. You should just be able to have it and play with it and not have to maintain it at all. Is that actually gonna happen? I don't know. But I've been flipping it for a couple weeks already, and the tolerances haven't totally farted out on me. There's still essentially no play. It like wiggles, but it's not, nothing's hitting anything, so there's no tap. So maybe we will have to do a long-term review of this Balisong, maybe in like a couple months. But for now, after having it for a few weeks already, the tolerances have remained pretty dang nice on it. Now, I have opened up the Amazon page for this Balisong, and it has a little description on it, and that description says, "This is a butterfly knife trainer with an innovative design which requires minimum to zero maintenance. CNC'd 6061 aluminum handles, precision-tuned bushings, and G10 inlays. Don't worry about screwdrivers and thread lockers no more. Just enjoy flipping and lube the bushings once in a while." You can put all them torque screws back in your prison wallet, because you're not going to be needing these with this Balisong, hopefully. I mean, if you do, you can't really get to them, so... And when Knivesmatter was talking to me in the DMs, he said the reason he made this Balisong like this is because it's a little overwhelming for a beginner flipper to have to maintain their Balisong right off the bat, which I kind of agree with. So he tried his best to design this Balisong to not really need any maintenance and to honestly just be kind of a beater that you don't really have to work on, and you can just use and abuse, and it should stay relatively nice. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning that I've had this for like 2 or 3 weeks already, and the tolerances on it are still pretty good. However, I also know that 6000 series aluminum isn't the hardest metal on planet Earth, and there is a pretty decent chance that things are going to move and shift as this Balisong breaks in, which will probably loosen up the tolerances over time. But again, it's been 2 or 3 weeks and it hasn't really done that, so we're going to have to see how long that actually takes, if it actually does do it. But for now, it's pretty good. Now, before we get into the flipping demo real quick, I just want to thank you guys for all the love and support on all my recent videos. It truly does mean a lot. As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, help the engagement on this video, leave a comment, share it around. If you regularly watch this channel and you haven't already subscribed, maybe that would explain why your parents are disappointed in you. We are on the road to 17,000 subs, and we are almost at 16,000, so any support towards that endeavor is, pretty nice. Also, I want to thank Knivesmatter for sending me this Balisong as well as the karambits. I also want to thank KPL, which is the sponsor of today's video. As always, if you want to get yourself some KPL products, use the link that's in the bio and pinned in the comment section of this video. It takes you to KPL's website. Get whatever your heart desires, and over at checkout, use code DenDenBMX. If you use my link and use my code, you'll get a discount. I'll get some kickback. And yeah, also since I'm taking this time out of the video to be a giant tool, might as well get it all out of the way. So a huge shout out to Cosmic Steez, Yannick Kaminsky, and Horse Running for being the 3 current channel members. If you want to join them, you can go down there, click the join button, become a channel member. Tiers start as low as $3. But if you don't want to join a membership, but you still want to support the channel in that way, there is also the super thanks button. It's like a little tip jar. All right, I'm done being a tool. Let's go flip this thing. So I've learned some new tricks recently because everyone does them and I've kind of felt left out for a real long time. I've just never really bothered to learn them until now. One of them is reverse fans. I'm finally kind of trying to get a hold of those. And mine are still kind of ugly, but I think I kind of mostly got the hang of them. And then the other one is short stops. Let me get... that's the one I've like most recently learned, and I'm still trying to like work out the kinks on it. I finally started getting the hang of it. I was doing a thing to where I like paused right here a whole lot, but I put that on my story, and then a bunch of people were helping me. So thanks guys, I kind of figured it out now because of you, sorta. It's still a little ugly, but I got the gist of it now. And then I've been doing this one thing where I do like this, and oh shit, fuck! I don't really think I've ever seen anyone else do it, but I do something like this. And then I just catch the safe handle. I've just been kind of messing with. I don't think I've ever... It's a little hard on this Balisong because, spoiler alert, aluminum is slippery. So I do this, and then I do this, and then I just kind of throw it up in the air and then catch the safe handle. It looks a little sketchy sometimes, but usually it works out. I would say if you want to see like my serious flipping clips, then you should follow me on Instagram at DenDenBMX. But I don't think that even matters if you follow me because I've got like, I don't know, 16,000 people following me on Instagram, and Instagram refuses to show them anything other than like my BMX clips. My flipping clips used to kind of blow up sometimes, but now I'm lucky if they get 100 likes, which is kind of sad because again, I have 16,000 people following me, but Instagram refuses to show my content to any of them. I don't know what changed. I didn't change the way I posted or anything, but for like a few months now, it's like my posts used to do really good and people used to actually see my content, and now they don't, and I'm like lucky if I get 100 likes on like anything, which is kind of sad because for like a consistent 3 or 4 years, I was doing pretty good, and then it was like I didn't do anything, and all of a sudden that entire fan base that I grew doesn't see my stuff anymore, and it's really annoying, but thank God YouTube Shorts exist. Anyway, how does this Balisong actually flip? It's pretty good, all things considered. Now, it is an aluminum Balisong with a very minimalist design, so I think y'all know what I'm gonna say here in a second, but it's a little too slippery for me. Shocker. Now, the G10 does provide quite a bit of grip. However, it's kind of offset by the very rounded, smooth aluminum handles with almost nothing on the sides of the handles besides some jimping that isn't deep enough. So it's kind of like the same old story with almost every other aluminum Balisong. it's too slippery. Like, yeah, that G10 does provide grip, but having grips on the sides of the handles and on the edges of the handles is just as important as having grip on the faces of the handles, especially if it's aluminum. Now, balance-wise, it's actually pretty okay. I don't really mind the balance. I don't think it's very... When it comes to blade bias or handle bias or neutral, I'd say it's a bit more neutral with a tad bit of a blade bias to it. But, you know, I personally didn't really, like, notice that right away. Like, there's some Balisongs where you're like, this is handle heavy, or this is blade heavy. What I said when I first started flipping this thing was, wow, it's slippery, but it's also kind of heavy for an aluminum Balisong. Now, Knivesmatter did hit me up like a week ago asking me what I thought about the balance, because he sent this out to other people, and some other people are saying it's blade bias, I believe, and he wanted to get my opinion on if he should add weight to the handles, and I told him it's already kind of heavy, so I don't think he should be adding more weight. I think if anything, if people are saying it's blade bias, just maybe take some material out of the blade and make the blade a little bit lighter. Now, the jimping does nothing. It looks exactly like the jimping on like most other Amazon aluminum Balisong trainers. It's like they take out just the littlest amount of material to make the jimping. Like, they just don't make the jimping deep enough. Like, if your jimping is this shallow, there's almost no point in adding it at all, because it really doesn't do much. Jimping has to be a little deep. It has to actually dig into the handles so that your fingers dig in there and grip it. Excuse me, Mother Nature. Thought we were going to war there for a second. I'm not gonna lie, that gave me a bit of a spook. Anyway, what I was saying is, if you're gonna put jimping on an aluminum Balisong, actually make sure it's gonna do something, because if you just put this shallow little half-assed attempt at jimping on your aluminum Balisong, there's almost no point in even putting it on there at all. Jimping needs to actually be a little deep so that your fingers actually dig into it so it provides some grip. And I'm not picking on Knivesmatter specifically here. There's so many aluminum Balisongs with just the littlest shit attempt at putting jimping on there, and it doesn't do anything. And it kind of pisses me off that they would even try and say that it has jimping, because this almost doesn't count as jimping, because it doesn't do anything. Jimping is supposed to help the flippability of the Balisong, and if it's not deep enough to provide grip that improves the flippability of the Balisong, then there's no point in putting jimping. It's just kind of like a little cock tease. You're almost cucking me at this point. I'm getting so worked up, I'm changing the weather. If you're gonna put jimping on your Balisong, actually make sure it does something. Please. I think that's the one thing this Balisong is missing, is just a little bit more grip. If it had that, I'd actually be pretty stoked on the flippability of this Balisong, because it is good. It's just the one thing is I'm struggling to keep it in my hands, and it's kind of pissing me off. Now, I do want to mention something that happened right before I started filming. It would have been a lot more convenient if it happened while I was filming, because then you guys would have been able to actually see it, but you're just gonna have to go off my word. When I was just like warming up, getting ready to start filming, one of these handles binded up really badly. Like, it just like locked into place for a second, and I had to wiggle it around for a good few seconds before it loosened up again. Keep that in mind. Well, that's weird. Maybe that is something to keep an eye on and be wary of. But that is kind of where the downsides of this Balisong would come in, is if you would need to do maintenance on this Balisong, you would kind of be unable to do so, because there's no real feasible way to access the pivots to help adjust the tolerances unless you tear off this G10. And I don't know if that's going to damage the Balisong, or if it's going to break the G10, or if you'll be able to get the G10 back in there and stay in there. But that is yet to be seen if that is going to be an actual problem with this Balisong. I actually kind of like the very clean design of the handles. It really reminds me of those old Pacific Cutlery Benchmade Balisongs, which is why I really like that it's called the TECH-NOIR Balisong, because it does have a very futuristic, cyberpunky design to it, but it's got this classic element to it of you can't access the pivots, and it gives it that real old school look, and I think that's really cool. I'm a pretty big fan of how clean that looks. It's just that may end up being a potential problem. Before we wrap up the video, let's do a sound test. As always, we're going to do a dry sound test, how it is right now, and then we're going to throw some KPL in there and see what it sounds like. So here is the dry sound test for the Knivesmatter TECH-NOIR. Now let's throw some KPL heavy into these pivots. Now here's the sound test of the TECH-NOIR with some KPL heavy in there. Oh. And there's the sound test, and that is going to wrap up today's video. A huge shout out to Knivesmatter for sending me this thing to review, as well as the 2 karambits. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to KPL for sponsoring today's video, as always. Once again, shout out to the channel members, Cosmic Steez, Yannick Kaminsky, and A Horse Running. If you want to join them and become a channel member, the join button's down there. Tiers start as low as $3. And then there's also the super thanks button, which is kind of like a little tip jar if you don't want to join the membership. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you did, make sure you leave a like, help the engagement on this video. Leave a comment, share the video around. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We're on the road to 17,000 subs. Follow me on Instagram at DenDenBMX. Maybe if enough people follow me and engage with my content, I won't be shadow banned to shit anymore. But I think me being a tool is going to conclude today's video. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.